Question 4, the month of July at a popular bar and grill, we had food sales of $21,345 and bar sales of $40,673. What percent of the total sales were for food and for drinks? And they want us to round off to one decimal place. So basically what we want to find out is what percent of our food sales, or what the percent of food sales was to our total sales. Now, here's a good example of a question where we have to do a little bit of math before we can use our magical pyramid of knowledge and fun. They have not given us the total sales here, but they certainly did tell us what the sales were. We sell two things at our bar and grill. We sell food and we sell bar sales, liquor, beverages. If we add these two numbers up, we will get our total sales, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to total up our food sales to the bar sales. So now we know our total sales is $62,018. That becomes our base number. That's the number we want to figure out percentages from. We want to know the food sales. What percent of $62,018 were our food sales? And since our food sales were $21,345, that's going to go up here. We want to know what percent 21,345 is of $62,018. We divide and then of course multiply by 100 to get the percent. So here we go. There's our food sales. We are going to divide it by our total sales. There's the number, rounded off to one decimal place. 34.4% of our total sales came from food. We're going to do the same thing with bar sales, but we're going to use the bar sales number instead. So the bar sales number divided by the total sales gives us, rounded to one decimal place, 65.6%. So there you go. The bar sales were this percent of our total. The food sales were that percent of our total. And just to double check to make absolutely sure we've done this right, if we add up the 2%, it should add up to 100% because these are the only two things we sell. So no matter what percent each of these individual sales are, they must add up to 100% of our sales. And in this case, it does just that. Let's look at question 5. The inflation rate last year was 4.5% over the course of the entire year. We want to know what the average inflation rate per month was. So we're going to do some unit costing here. We're not going to be unit costing ingredients or money or anything else. We're unit costing inflation rates. So basically what we need to know is we need to divide the inflation rate by the amount of units that rate represents. And I hope most of us realize that there are 12 months in a year. So I'm going to take the yearly rate and divide by 12, and the answer should be the average rate per month. So there you go, decimal 0.045, which is the decimal equivalent of 4.5%, divided by the amount of months in a year, because this percent represents a year, but they want to know the average rate per month, and we have 12 months in a year. So you can see on average, the inflation rate was decimal 375%. If the present cost of a side of beef is $1.69 a pound, what would that price be 7 months from now using the above inflation rate? So keeping in mind, we've just calculated that on a monthly basis, our inflation is going up by decimal 375%. We want to know how that's going to affect our cost for the side of beef in 7 months. So we need to figure out how much 3.75% is for 7 months. This is 1, I need to know 7. So quite obviously, I'm going to multiply my monthly rate by the amount of months that I'm looking for. So the inflation rate for 7 months is 2.625%. I now have to add that to $1.69. There are a bunch of ways we can go with that. $1.69 times the decimal equivalent of 2.625%. We don't really care about that answer, but we know we're going to add it to $1.69. And when rounded to the nearest cent, we get $1.73. We can do it another way. We can take $1.69 and multiply it by itself, plus the decimal equivalent of 2.625%. And as you can see, we get the same answer. Again, pick the way you understand best. Question 6, a caterer charges $18.50 per person for their most popular buffet. A party of over 200 people, there is a 10% discount. If you have 300 or more people, you get a 15% discount. And any senior citizens group receives an additional 5% discount. So let's calculate the cost. We have 240 guests. Before we even worry about the discount, let's just figure out what it's going to cost us at the regular rate. So the cost per plate times the amount of people, so the cost would be $4,440. But we have more than 200 guests, so we get a 10% discount. So let's forget what the 10% discount is, and that's basically our base number, or the total of 4,440 times 10%, which is 444, and then we'll subtract that and realize that this group of 240 guests will cost $3,996. Or we could have taken the entire cost before the discount, forgive me, of $4,440 and multiplied by 90%. Why 90%? Well, if you're getting a 10% discount, you only have to pay 90% of the price. So if you multiply any number by 90%, you get what that number equals. And as you can see, we are getting the same number. Now we have a senior citizens party. 90 people first, and then we'll worry about the 330 people. So again, 90 people, let's just do the regular price. $10 or $18.50 times 90 would be a total of $1,665. But because they're a senior citizens group, they get a 5% discount. So let's take 5% of $1,665, which, as you can see here, is $83.25. We subtract $83.25 from the original $1,665, and the seniors group will only pay $1,581.75. Or, since they are saving 5%, we can simply multiply the original total by 95%. If you're saving 5%, you're only paying 95%. So the total of 1,665 times 95%, again, you see the numbers are exactly the same. Let's take a look at a group of 330 people. Again, we realize it's a 20% discount because they are getting 15% for being over 300 people, plus another 5% for being a seniors group. So they are saving 20%. So we can do, again, a couple of different things. Let's figure out what 20% is of the pre-discount total of $6,105. And it's $1,221. So let's subtract that from the original total. So the group would only have to pay $4,884. Or again, if you're saving 20%, you're only paying 80% of the total. So the undiscounted price of $6,105 times 80%, and again, we get to the discounted total of $4,884. A waitress made $202.05 in wages and $62 in tips. The total value of the drinks she served was $14.40.80. The money earned in tip was what percent? So we need to figure out what she made, or what percent she made in tips from her sales. So the base number in this case is her sales. She sold $1,440.80 worth of drinks, but she made $262 in tips. What percent is that? So there's the portion. If you remember your pyramid, here's our portion, here's our base number. So the amount of tips divided by the total sales gives us 18.2%. So she made 18.2% in tips of what she sold. Now, what is the percent of her tips according to her total earnings? So the tip amount doesn't change. She still made $262 in tips, but she only made $202.50 in wages. So if we add those two together, we get $464.50. That's her total earnings. We then take her tips and divide it by the total earnings, and you see that the money she took home, 56.4% of it was made out from tips, which is pretty normal for a poor person who earns their money by serving or bartending. So there you go, some quick examples of how you're going to run into using this particular pyramid in everyday life. Again, practice, and feel free to go over this video and all the others step by step, question by question.